Hello people of the internet, the Evil Slayer is here for another video made for you. And for today's video, we'll be talking about Big Man Gamers. Who is Big Man Gamers, you may be asking? Well, he's a big man, and he plays games, and it implies there's more than one of him. Okay, all jokes aside, Big Man Gamers is a YouTuber who bashes on Xbox, PC, and Switch. So that's telling you that he's a PlayStation fanboy. And if you're looking at the screenshot you're looking at, you may have noticed that he has no sub count visible. It's almost like he's embarrassed to show how many subs he has because I think it's pretty small. So for Big Man Gamers, we're going to be taking a look at 3 videos. And all those 3 videos have one thing in common. Valve. These games he looked at were all made by Valve, and those 3 games being Half-Life, Left 4 Dead, and Team Fortress 2. So we're going to be taking a look at them, and if you have looked through his channel, yes, I do know that he made a video on Counter-Strike, but we're not counting that, merely because I haven't played much of Counter-Strike. So with all that being said, let's take a look at his videos and see about his so-called points he made on why he hates the game. This is going to be a fun one. That intro, man. He has a stock picture with some effects and royalty-free rock music. His intro doesn't compare to mine, which you saw at the beginning. So let's take a look and dive in and stop talking about that intro thing.
What's up, gamers?
Wow. Dead air for a few seconds. Why am I not surprised that he doesn't know what editing software is? I'm surprised he doesn't even know what it is. Maybe it does.
Big Man Gamers back with another game review. But before we get into the video, guys, I just want to remind you all to smash the like button, hit subscribe, ring the bell icon, share this video, all that good stuff. And I also want to give a shout out to all my subscribers, new and old. You guys are awesome. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Now, with that said, guys, let's get into the video.
Okay. First, finish that piece of steak you have in your mouth. And second, I like how you used trailers for your footage instead of, your gameplay footage like I'm doing here. And I think I have 2 reasons why. And I'll talk to them after we get through all 3 videos. Don't worry, we'll get there.
Now guys, today we're going to be taking a look at one of the most boring, ugly, and overrated PC fanboy games in existence, Half-Life, made by one of the most overrated developers, Valve.
Then tell me, Big Man Gamers, tell me why Half-Life is quote-unquote bad.
Known for other overrated PC and Xbox fanboy games such as Left 4 Dead, Portal, and Team Fortress 2. Such dumb, boring, stupid trash, poor graphics, and standing for everything that's wrong with gaming.
Yeah, it's not like Valve just, makes an engine that makes the graphics, more better every game they make. Yeah, it's not like that they ever do that. The graphics are just ugly. Said no one ever.
The game is an old, ugly FPS game, because that's all PC Master Race fanboys play, with a boring story, no atmosphere, bland, ugly graphics, and lame enemies, complete with poorly designed, dated gameplay, combined together to create one of the worst gameplay experiences ever seen.
Whoa, hold the fucking horse. First off, the graphics, well, they look washed out and kind of ugly, but it still holds up well. Second, it does have atmosphere because it's an office building, especially in Zen, the place nobody likes. And third, don't you think the Hecamarines and aliens aren't lame, and the gameplay is good, and they all combine to create the Citizen Kane of video games. So I'm calling their points bullshit and invalid.
But the PC fanboys won't admit that. They think it's the best game ever, and they all think it was the first FPS game ever.
One of the best games? Yes. But first FPS? No. We all know the first FPS game is 3D Monster Maze.
And that their precious Valve invented the genre. But I've got news for you, they totally did not.
Yeah, they didn't invent the FPS genre. We all know id Software did with Wolfenstein 3D, and then Doom. You know, the classic Doom.
All the PC Master Race fanboys will tell you is that their precious $5,000 PC is superior. Saying things like, my PC gaming, my Steam, my cake is a lie. What a terrible game. Poor graphics and gameplay, and with next to no story, and to top it off, being made by Valve, the biggest Xbox and PC fanboys on the planet.
Are you upset that Half-Life doesn't have cutscenes that tell the story for you, and it's not on the PlayStation 2? Speaking of which, I think there was a PlayStation 2 port of Half-Life, so I don't know what your fucking argument was. It was on PlayStation 2, so you don't need to cry about it being on PC. Dickhead.
Thanks for watching, guys. What do you think about this game? Is it an overrated game that gets praised simply for being made by Valve? Or are you on the other side of the fence and think that it's a game made for Xbox fanboys? Sound off in the comments below, and I want to remind you all to smash the like button, hit subscribe, ring the bell, all that good stuff. Until next time, guys, this has been Big Man Gamers, and I am out.
And he isn't even fucking bothered with an outro, despite him, you know, making an intro for his video. It's not a good one, but it's an intro nonetheless. So anyway, his points are shit, his lack of gameplay is questioning, and his voice will grind on your ears. It may sound like to you that he's trying to be a child with a man voice, but I sound him he's finishing that last bit of steak he has in his mouth. So anyway, let's go on to the next video, I guess.
Come on, Coach. Maybe the helicopter. Maybe it's made of chocolate.
So guys, today we're gonna be reviewing one of the biggest Xbox fanboy games, Left 4 Dead, made by one of the most overrated Xbox fanboy developers, Valve.
Let me tell you something, big man gamers. If they were Xbox developers, they would give two shits about the TF2 and CSGO Xbox ports, but they're not. They're a PC developer. Those Xbox ports of TF2 and CSGO, well, they've been abandoned. So tough shit, man.
All they make are online FPS games filled with microtransactions to appeal to Xbox and PC fanboys.
Okay, I'm feeling generally angry to this man. First off, the microtransactions weren't a thing yet. Okay, they were because of Bethesda doing an experiment, but they weren't infested to the gaming industry. And yeah, microtransactions weren't in Left 4 Dead. You don't need to pay to get good shit or skins. Unless you count the PC port in their so-called mods. Like the footage you're seeing here, it's obviously known that I have mods installed.
And 2008's Left 4 Dead is no exception, with poor graphics even by 2008 standards, with much more graphically impressive games coming out around the same time, such as Bioshock, Mirror's Edge, Little Big Planet, and Dead Space, the kind of games us PlayStation fans were enjoying at the time.
Okay, Bioshock is graphically impressive, and maybe Dead Space, but Little Big Planet? I'm not sure if it's graphically impressive. And besides, Left 4 Dead stands fairly well with its graphics. In fact, the graphics look pretty good for 2008. So you're calling bullshit, and I could smell your lies.
But all the Xbox would talk about is Left 4 Dead, a boring online FPS with generic zombies.
Well, that's where the special infected come into play. The common infected, or generic zombies, are mainly there to make you get cornered by them, making you an easier target for the special infected to get you.
Why am I not surprised an Xbox fanboy game is an online FPS?
Because it's a 4-player co-op survival game.
That's all Xbox fanboys play, and are the reason why good games nearly went extinct at the time.
Then tell me why good games nearly went extinct back in 2008, great big man gamers.
Because every company would just all sell out and make clones of COD with multiplayer, just to appeal to the Xbox fanboys, a dark time for gamers everywhere.
What? No! If that was the case, then why did Nintendo announce that they were making FPS games? And even if that was the case, they would still make them for the Nintendo, yes. And secondly, that was the dark age of gaming. If that was the case, which is not, we all know that the dark age was the video game crash caused by one game made for the Atari. Which you should know, because you're a big man gamer. Every gamer knows that.
More online, more co-op, more loot boxes. That's all Xbox fanboys ever say. They think all games should be clones of COD and PUBG. If they had their way, there would be no single-player games. They want us all to play nothing but COD Warzone, Fortnite, and Apex Legends.
Aside from COD, those games didn't exist back in 2008. And secondly, Left 4 Dead doesn't have any loot boxes. And third, there were single-player games in 2008. Even if there were multiplayer games, they would at least have some form of single-player content. You're not a big man gamer, you're just making bullshit up, so you're practically a small man gamer.
And we'd be doing nothing but buying loot boxes and microtransactions and playing online games with 6-year-olds screaming in your ears.
If the 6-year-olds were playing Left 4 Dead, we all know why they would be screaming into our ears. And you know it too.
Xbox fanboys just love buying microtransactions from PUBG, Madden, and FIFA.
Really? Because the last time I checked, I'm pretty sure even Xbox fans hated FIFA and Madden. Maybe because they were made by EA.
They love games like COD and Left 4 Dead, an Xbox fanboy game with awful graphics and the worst gameplay, just because it's on Xbox but not on PlayStation.
So the reason why you hate these Valve games is all because they were not on PlayStation. Oh my god, you really are a fanboy. And practically, you're the biggest fanboy outside of JTech TV. Just because it's not on the console you love, you immediately hate it. I'm starting to think you're not a troll. You're something more than a troll. Something that people can't imagine.
But you know, if it was the other way round, and it was on PlayStation as well, then they wouldn't care.
And if it was on PS3 back in 2008, then Left 4 Dead on that console would look and run like absolute shit.
Just look at the first Titanfall. It was all the Xbox would talk about. But when Titanfall 2 comes out on PlayStation as well, they stop caring. So sad. So very sad indeed.
It was not because it was on PlayStation. It was because it was overshadowed by other games like Final Fantasy 15, Doom 2016, Overwatch, maybe Street Fighter 5, and Uncharted 4. So yeah, the reason why it wasn't talked about is because it was overshadowed by those games, not because it was on PlayStation. So get your facts straight and do your goddamn research. So with that video out of the way, let's move on to the next video, and thankfully, the last video we'll be talking about. I just can't wait for this to be done.
Sentry, go, damn it, cut the blue that gear. This thing ain't on.
Now, guys, today we're gonna be reviewing Team Fortress, an online FPS, because of course it is. One of those games PC fanboys just won't shut up about.
Big man gamers, you do realize that TF2 is on PS3, you know, part of the PlayStation family you love. But I'm happy to inform you that it's there, but it's not updated since. LOL.
And then, out of sheer curiosity, you see what all the fuss is about, and it looks like a freaking mobile phone game.
Hey, big man gamers, I don't know you know about this. It may look like a mobile phone game to you, but to everyone else's eyes, it's called an art style, you fucking dumbass.
Why do PC fanboys always say, my 3090 is better than console, my AK60 FPS, but the games for PC always look like a remastered PS2 game?
Really? Then provide examples, you fucking dipshit. If you don't provide examples, your points are invalidated.
Another glorified turret from Valve. Everything they make looks like a budget cell phone game, yet PC fanboys go crazy for it. My PC gaming, my Valve, my cake is a lie. Another online FPS that looks like a PS2 game that Valve fanboys spend thousands on their PCs to play. Complete garbage. One of the poorest excuses for a game I've ever seen.
Wait, so what you're saying is that Todd Howard made this game? I'm pretty sure he didn't make this game, and if he did, it will be a pile of shit like you're claiming it to be. But it would be justified nonetheless, and it would get updated, unlike Gabe Newell, who probably never gonna update it. And yes, I know he announced he's gonna make updates for it in the near future, but I feel like I'm doubting on that, but I'm going in with an open mind.
But just because it's made by Valve, it automatically becomes the best game in the world. GTA, eat your heart out, because here we have Fortnite for boomers.
Fortnite for boomers.
What is it about the way the characters look that makes you just want to punch them in the face? I don't know what they were going for, but they just look so dumb. Like characters from a cartoon made for slow children.
Well, what they were going for is to make sure the characters aren't generic and forgettable as possible. They give them personality, and with a personality, you can distinct them, and they have funny quotes. But to you, nah, we want generic characters to make the game more fun, baby! Woo!
Imagine playing on PC. PC fanboys can't understand an interesting world with intriguing lore like us PlayStation fans play.
Well, sorry that I have to break that statement down, but TF2 does have lore. It's just not in the game. Okay, there may be some pieces of lore in the game, but it's in other media. The remaining lore you need is in other media. It's not Destiny 2 where it's in the game to break the pacing. Like, for fuck's sake, Doom Eternal had lore, and it did it wonderfully by making it separate to the game. If you want to read lore, you could just stop, go to the lore codex page, and just read the lore from there. So sorry if there's no lore for you to read in Team Fortress 2. It's a multiplayer game. It needs to be fun and exciting and not breaking the pace with lore.
Oh no, all they play are online shooters and battle royale games, and the more in-game ads and monetization the better. This game has the worst gameplay I've ever seen. No way to the movement. You just fly all around the place like your character's walking on ice.
Bullshit.
Sorry, big man gamers, but we all played TF2 at some point, and we all know that the gameplay is not how you've explained it, because what you've explained about the gameplay is absolute bullshit.
Everything about this game just screams low budget and laziness. Just another cookie cutter PC fanboy game. Completely and utterly pointless, filled with glitches and poor gameplay. But because it's for my PC and made by the most overrated developer in the world, it's a masterpiece according to the PC Master Race fanboys.
If it's a cookie cutter, then please explain to me why the game took years in development hell. And like I said, Todd Howard didn't make the game, and the game is good. You're just talking bullshit out of your mouth. If you knew what you were talking about, because you actually, played the game, it would have been better. But no, since you haven't played it, you're just talking about bullshit and making it look like it's bad, when in reality, it's not.
This is why that fat dude from Valve hates PlayStation so much. He is jealous that we get great games that are actually good, with great graphics, awesome stories, and top-notch gameplay, not clones of other multiplayer FPS trash that the PC has. Maybe that's why they haven't made a game in a million years and Half-Life 3 is never getting made. Who even cares if that never gets made anyway? If you just want it so bad, just go play CSGO or Fortnite. It's the exact same garbage, just with a different paint job, just like everything PC fanboys play.
Okay, let's destroy the pillars he made, shall we? First off, if Valve had made a game in millions of years, then please explain to me why they made Half-Life Alyx, and for Christ's sake, you even showed the trailer for Half-Life Alyx in your Half-Life video we saw earlier. And secondly, Gaben is not jealous of PlayStation, and the reason why is because Gabe has a lot of money. They can simply buy PlayStation if they want to with just a snap of their fingers. And thirdly, Counter-Strike and Fortnite are not similar to Team Fortress 2. They're different games because they have different gameplay. Like, Counter-Strike has tactical gameplay, and Fortnite's a battle royale game, which TF2 isn't one of those things. And fourthly, if Half-Life 3 is announced, everyone's going to go batshit crazy, showing that they do care that Half-Life 3 is being made. So with all that said, let's get to the conclusion, because we're all done with those 3 videos, so let's get to the conclusion now! So, in conclusion, Big Man Gamers is a dumbass. His points are stupid, his lack of gameplay is questionable, and his voice is irritating, and his editing is lackluster at best. And I did state that I have reasons on why he doesn't show his gameplay in his videos earlier. And here are the reasons. A, if he shows gameplay, then his points are going to sink faster than the Titanic. And B, I don't think he's a gamer at all. So with all that said, this is the end of the video, so go home.